Welcome to the Pittsburgh Current, easy for me to say, Pittsburgh Current podcast. I'm Pittsburgh Current publisher and editor Charlie Deitch, coming to you from the heart of Beachview in the city of Pittsburgh. For those of you who may be joining us from far away, places like Blawnox and the Century 3 Mall. Today we have with us on September 8th, Laura Gunderson's The Revolutionists opened at the City Theater on the South Side to rave reviews. It's the story of four activists at the time of the French Revolution. Daina Michelle Griffith, well known in the Pittsburgh theater scene, plays real-life playwright, badass, and guillotine victim Olympe de Gouges, and she joined us via Skype. Daina, thank you for taking the time this morning.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. We were talking a little bit before. This is on a scale of 1 to completely exhausted. This show is taking a lot. Is it taking a lot out of you in terms of what it takes to do this, show after show?
Yeah, I would say it's off that scale. While we were rehearsing, all of us really inspired and challenged each other. And so we all take this crazy, exhausting journey together. And as you can hear, my voice is like a 70-year-old man, and I'm not a 70-year-old man yet. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
The reviews for this show have been really good. I've known Ted Hoover for for many years, and Ted was it was I think the closest thing you could ever get from a rave from Ted Hoover. He called it a piece of art perfectly reflecting the Me Too resistance. He and a lot of critics are just kind of over the moon about it. Are you surprised by the reception that the play has gotten thus far?
I'm not. I mean, I'm happy and grateful for it. But when I first read the play, it is so, in my opinion, after reading tons and tons of plays for years and years and years, it is perfectly written, and it's funny, and it's tragic, and it's inspiring. It's all these things. And it's basically like its own version of heightened language,
right?
Even though we're talking like you and I would talk today.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty cool to see four girls up there just going to town, and and because it's written so well, Lauren has written this play that really resonates with lots of people. And not realizing that this kind of fight for women's equality has been going on so long,
right,
is inspiring for the audience to see.
Lauren she's just an amazing playwright. How familiar were you with her work before you started doing this play? I mean, had you read The Revolutionists before? Were you familiar? Had you done other Gunderson pieces before?
I've not done any other Gunderson pieces. I've actually been waiting for somebody in Pittsburgh to do a Lauren Gunderson play for a long time, and specifically The Revolutionists. I had read this play and had been a fan of this play for quite a while, and it's gone through many. It's evolved over the last couple of years, and this is the published version that we are doing. So I've read different versions of the play from friends who have done it around the country in other theaters, and I kept thinking, like, somebody's got to do a Lauren Gunderson play.
Right.
She's the most produced playwright, and she's amazing, and when are we going to do it? And then out of the blue, here comes City Theater. It's about damn time. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about The Revolutionists, which is at the City Theater on the South Side through September 30th. For more information and tickets, you can go to citytheatercompany.org. So when you decided to, is this the part that you targeted, the part of the Gouges? Was this the part that you targeted from the beginning? Is this the part that you felt that you wanted to play, or were there some things in some of the other characters that maybe drew you to them?
Initially, years ago, when I read this play, the thing that I was attracted to was the Marie Antoinette part.
Right.
I've been a Marie Antoinette history buff for decades. And so to have her speaking in modern tongue and telling people to F off and things like that, I was crazy about it. And it also makes her very human.
Right.
Where what we learned in high school was that she was this horrible person.
Absolutely.
So initially, many years ago, that's what I thought. And then when they asked me to read for Olamp, I kind of, I was not surprised by it because as I've gotten older, that's kind of the character that I am playing is that kind of very steadfast and loud and vocal person. I was honored. I mean, because it's a person that I didn't know from history.
Right.
And got to do a lot of research on, and then got to sit back and admire Marie Antoinette and Charlotte Corday. And so it's the right fit for now. Maybe 10 years ago, Marie would have been something. But.
Right. I mean, de Gouges was very much an early provocateur, leader for women's rights. Did you, when you're preparing for this role, do you go off of Gunderson's material, or how much historical, how much historical research are you doing, and how much of that folds into the character? Do you bring something else to the character from what you may have read or learned in history?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. We have this amazing dramaturg at City Theater. Her name's Claire Drobote, and she had so much information for us. She always does. She's incredible. Yeah. And so what I had read about Olamp and then partnered with the character that Lauren had created, who's very vulnerable, who's trying to fight for something, but also fearing for everything, kind of making the love child of those two things. Right. Was really cool because it's not often that you get to play someone who's real from history. Right. You're often just creating something from, the playwright's mind. So having both of those bits of information was really inspiring, especially because Olamp is not known and she was vital during the Reign of Terror and this part of the revolution in France and what she was fighting for. So, and we don't know her. Right. I mean, it was cool. It's cool to have Lauren's words to make her come alive.
And I think it's important too, to kind of, to understand the stakes. Back then, it wasn't just you weren't just sort of, it wasn't, someone trying to publicly shame you or you risked being put to death, which she found out, was for writings. I mean, this is she's writing about, and she's advocating for these freedoms, and she lost her life because of it. And that's why I think that this play is resonating with so many people with the issues today. So how much of a modern, then in development, we'll talk about the play as a whole, but as you develop your character, how much of what's going on today do you bring into your character as well? I mean, do you place her in your mind? Do you place her in modern times, and how would she react to some of the shit that's going on today?
I do place her in France in 1793. Yeah. But I think it's a little the passion that comes from it, that comes from fighting for what she believes in, definitely resonates with me today. So it's hard to not cross those lines. There are certain parts in the play that are certain lines, certain dialogue that is so that is mirroring things that we are saying today. And this play, she started writing this play in 2012. So it is pretty crazy that, pretty crazy and sad. And it makes you kind of say, of course, this fight is still going on. Right. But it is pretty cool to know that we are up there and that the women in the audience, a nice majority of them are feeling like they've said the same words we've said,
right?
In a way.
How do you approach political material? Do you? I mean, do you? I mean, I don't think you could. It doesn't feel like you could probably do something like this in a bubble and just sort of pretend that what's happening in the world isn't happening. But for a lot of entertainers, getting involved in politics, or getting involved in political messaging is something that they want to do. And for others, they want to kind of stay away from it and keep it to, the performance or the art. So when you're doing something political like this, where are you in terms of how much are you playing a role and how much are you sort of speaking to the problems and the issues of the time?
That's interesting because, it's very rare that we get to do a play that is something so close to my heart, and mm-hmm. especially in this time. When I was cast, I was really excited because it's rare that a play is speaks your guts, right. Basically. And so I love it. Yes. I take a real satisfaction every night in many parts of the play where I feel like Daina is as close to the surface as possible. Yeah. And that doesn't happen. Right. And especially I'm kind of outspoken on the Facebook and go to the rallies and go to the walks. And so this is special. It's a very special thing, and it's special to be up there with my sisters and not just be like, I fell in love.
Right.
It's like, this is what we're fighting for. Yeah. And so then you come off stage and it's still what you're fighting for. Right. So that's badass. That's really cool.
And how does, when you really connect to a work, when you really feel like the words that you're performing, the words that you're presenting are actually very close to your feelings and to your words, how does that affect your performance? I mean, is it easier when you really spot on connect to a piece? That is it easier then to perform that character?
I don't know if it's easier, because they're all hard, but I think it just makes it really special. It makes this play is just, and it takes you to places in your own conscious and subconscious that really feel powerful. And even if we're in front of a group of people that might not be feeling it or might be very silent. I mean, we get applause at certain points of the play because of things we're saying. Right. And that feels good. It feels like you're not alone in this political journey that you're on as a person. So then when you're up there, it's a very powerful thing, and it makes it feel very present and very like there's a purpose. It's you always hear, and we talk about that in the play, how the revolution had opened theaters to the masses, and theater was then democracy at that time. It was one and one. They weren't having to use puppets and hide behind these other things. They could actually be out there saying what they wanted. And then, they were all beheaded because of it, right. But they were told that they could do that. And so that's, I think, something that is starting to make its way back into our theatrical voice now because of the political climate. And this play is right at the forefront of that. So getting the opportunity to do that, it doesn't necessarily make it easy, but it makes it really effing cool because it just doesn't happen. And I haven't done a play that's been so vocal on my same side of the spectrum ever. So, I could die tomorrow and be like, yes,
satisfied as an actor if your career would end tomorrow because of this play.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's incredible. We are talking about the Revolutionist, which is playing through September 30th at City Theater on the South Side. Tickets and information go to citytheatercompany.org. And we are talking with Daina Michelle Griffith, who portrays Olympe de Gouges. I'm very excited.
Hey.
And I don't know how I'm going to be able to use this in regular conversation. I might have to get a dog, like a pet, and name them a cat, maybe name them Olympe, so I can, use that, because I'm pretty impressed with myself, to be completely honest.
Totally. On this Thursday morning, you got it.
I know. I feel like I really own this podcast today. Sorg, right? This is a good one. So let's talk about, you mentioned them earlier. You mentioned your cast mates. What has it been like working with Shamika Cotton, Maura Quigley, and Drew Lee Williams? I mean, they're a powerhouse cast, again, from what I understand, and I'm really looking forward to seeing the play live in person. What is it like working with them? Because it's really the four of you. You have to really work together, I would think, to create the messaging and the feelings that you're emoting to the audience.
Yeah, it was from day one awesome. Yeah. It's an all-female crew, an all-female creative team, and then, of course, we're all ladies too. So that just doesn't happen ever. So it's a very special 8 weeks in time, and it was a very supportive room. And it's interesting to see how we all collaborated. You can see when you see the play, we really inspired each other, and our director, Jade King Carroll, is just an effing genius. Yeah. I mean, she's like, so she would nurture us and allow us to really fail and try stuff, and the four of us really ran with it. And oftentimes you'll see a play and not everybody's in the same play. Sometimes there's somebody that's like, just not on the same page. Right. And it's written so well, and we were so excited to be working on it that these ladies are incredible. It's like a train. It like starts and then it's just 0 to 200 miles an hour till the end. And we have each other's back the entire time. You've got four really seasoned, powerful actors in this, playing four, very distinct but very powerful characters. Is there ever a time? Is it hard to sort of find that that sort of push and pull when you've got such a force sort of coming together? I think that Lauren Gunderson's play, because we are seasoned, you can see the ebb and flow, when it's supposed to move quickly, when it's supposed to sit back. And Jade really helped with that. So because it reads so well and the words come off the page so well, we were really able to feel that together. And when it's on stage and we are really pumping through, we'll come off stage and be like, that was awesome. We really, even if it's wonderful that the energy of the audience is there and that they're responding, but we can feel it ourselves. Right. So it's like, even if the audience is not as vocal as some audiences are, we still come off and we're like, yeah, that was good.
What separates an awesome performance from we nailed it performance? What is that for you that just that takes it to that next level for you?
Yeah, they all, it's funny. I've gotten to a point in my career where I feel like, unless I fall on my face, literally fall on my face, it's going to be an awesome performance. I base everything I do in truth. And so as long as I'm truthful to that, it feels good. And because it feels good, it's awesome. There are some performers that if the audience is not reacting, I always call them a listening audience. If they're listening and not necessarily vocal, they are very moved by that and pissed off by that. I'm just happy they're in the seats.
Right.
that they're actually there, that they give me a job.
Right.
That's why I get to do this, is because they buy tickets. So I love the energy of an audience, even if they're quiet. But pretty much, I always feel good leaving a theater. It always feels like, because I didn't grow up doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start doing this really till I was 20. So, and I wanted to do it so badly. So now every time I get the chance, I'm like, that was great. You know.
What drew you to the craft if it wasn't because, you know, a lot of people get into like high school drama and things like that and community theater. What drew you at that age? And what was your plan before that, before you decided to dedicate your life to acting? What was the plan, and then what drew you into this field?
Well, I'm from Southern Ohio, in between Cincinnati and Dayton,
Mm-hmm.
by the Indiana state line, and so it's farms and then more farms, and
Right.
so I always wanted to be an actor. I'm an only child, and I was a very shy, quiet only child, and I lived to pretend I was people from movies by myself. And but there was no real outlet, and I I auditioned for a play my senior year. I was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I played tennis. I was a cheerleader, that kind of crap. And it was hard to break into the theater crowd because they were very fun and loud and boisterous, and I was like sitting on the background, just reading and cheerleading and doing crap like that. And so I finally auditioned for a play my senior year, and I got in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Miami of Ohio for 2 years, not to study theater. And I kind of thought maybe I'd be an art teacher, because I was in all AP art classes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really serious. There was a life-changing event that happened, and I decided I'll take voice lessons. I will read plays, and basically did a bunch of work and got myself into Point Park. And when I got to Pittsburgh, I was so ready to work because I felt so behind. Everybody had played the leads in their musicals at their high schools, and I was like, I played pretend in my living room.
Right.
So I really had to be serious, and I was super serious. And I'm so grateful that I took the leap, because it would have been very easy for me to stay in Ohio and join, get married and join the PTA and
Sure.
Get a farm and do that whole thing. But I'm glad that I didn't, because it is legitimately my calling.
Right. And I think anytime you can move across the state and get away from Mike Pence is the best, is the better thing to do.
It's a better thing to do. You're exactly right.
It's corn, homophobia, corn, Mike Pence. I think that's how the state of Indiana rolls in.
Exactly. That's totally right.
We are wrapping up with Daina Michelle Griffith. She is currently playing Olympe de Gouges in Laura Gunderson's The Revolutionists at City Theater on the South Side through September 30th. citytheatercompany.org for tickets and more information. I do have one more question before I let you go. In doing my crack research, I saw a post that you did that this is the wig that you wear in this play. This is the third time that this wig has gotten some stage time. Is that right?
The fourth time.
Fourth time.
Oh yeah.
And what is it about this wig that it can apparently play in many different pieces, many different periods of time? What is it about that wig that's getting so much mileage in the theater?
That's hysterical. There's two wigs, this wig and then a darker version of this wig, that when they wig me, I get to wear. And this particular wig, her name is Daina. The part that I played was Daina.
Yeah.
And it was from Servant to Two Masters at the Pittsburgh Public Theater. And she was like this feminist maid who was dressed very scantily, and she's very curvy, and they gave me a butt pack and boobs and this whole thing, and then this wig, and so her name was Smeraldina, and Smeraldina has followed me through Death of a Salesman at the Public, when I went on as Adelaide in Guys and Dolls. She is She's the perfect shade of red to be the outspoken redhead, and then
Right.
the other one is like the more subdued,
Right.
I'm going to tell you about how I'm in love redhead, and this other one's like, listen to me. So I love her so, so much. And the woman who takes care of her when we get away from each other is a lady named Sherry Deberson. And she literally keeps it at her house.
Wow.
And when she's called for a wig for me, she styles it up and sends it over, and it fits like a glove. I love it so much. It's so
That's
silly.
great. Yeah, no, I saw that and I thought that's real. And I think I'd seen the different plays that had been in. Like it was funny to me that it was the same wig in different stylings. It was great. So finally, where do you go from here as an actress? What's next for you? And do you worry when you have a part that is kind of this perfect and you're in a play that you feel you're just like, I'm really giving, 100% here. And so where do you go from here? Do you look for something? Do you come out of the box your next part? Do you come out of the box looking for something that is going to equally satisfying? Or do you even maybe try and back it down a little bit and sort of look for a part that is almost like the rebound, the rebound relationship?
Yeah. It's interesting because this year has been a very special year, in that the roles that I've gotten the chance to play are some once in a lifetime roles, like one right after the next. And because of that, and I've been so busy for the last, which is wonderful. But since I returned from New York 10 years ago, I've been nonstop, performing on stage and getting to do things on camera. And so I'm actually, I don't know where I go from here. I'm not going to perform for a while. I'm very artistically full. Before this was Grey Gardens, and before that was Ragtime.
Right.
And I'm satisfied. And I think I'm going to take a step away. I have a business that I started last year at this time, that is an acting coaching business, that is doing really well. And I'm going to take some time off the stage. I'm also kind of tired of my own voice. Pittsburgh needs to hear somebody else talk for a while. So I'm just going to step away. And then, if something comes up that I'm inspired by, then I'm going to audition for it. But this is a nice, these last couple of shows, and especially Revolutionists, is a good note to go out on, because I just, I love it so much, and I've been a fan of the play for so long. So it's like, where do you go from here? You go to your acting studio and you teach kids. That's what you do.
Well, good luck with that, and good luck for the rest of the run of the Revolutionists. And that is the Revolutionists at Southside's City Theater through September 30th. Tickets and information, citytheatercompany.org. Daina Michelle Griffith, thank you so much for all the time, and good luck with the rest of the run. And if you haven't seen the Revolutionists, you need to get down there and see it before it's gone. It's really from what I understand, like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing it next week. It's really a one of a kind experience.
It really is. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Daina Michelle Griffith at the Southside City Theater, the Revolutionist. And that's doing research on, as a writer, doing research and finding that, Olympe de Gouges was I'm going to say it like that forever, she's a writer. That's how she changed the world, through her writing. And that's just, any writer, I think, aspires to that. And so that was just, that was a very interesting sort of piece of research that I did. So as we move along, we're going to talk about what's coming up this weekend, what's happening in the a little preview of next week's issue of the Pittsburgh Current. Joining me is my partner and my sidekick, and my better half outside of the home, Bethany Rue. Bethany,
Hello.
how are you this morning?
I'm good, and I had the pleasure of sitting here and listening along during that interview in my inner theater geeks. You know, I went to school for theater.
Right.
I want to find her and be her best friend, and I don't mean that in a creepy way.
Yeah, and Bethany, well, let's not fool the people here. Come on. So we've got issue. It's kind of weird. Like at first, I feel like we just started the Pittsburgh Current.
Yeah.
And other times I feel like, I can't, like the 5th issue feels like the 500th issue.
Yeah.
Out of both joy and exhaustion, both great things.
It is a marathon and also a sprint.
It is actually, this is the one thing in life that putting out a newspaper is a marathon and a sprint. But let's talk a little bit about, before we talk about next week's issue, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up this week. And you can still pick up the Pittsburgh Current, the newest issue of the Pittsburgh Current. It's our fall guide issue.
That's right.
And we have a fall guide insert inside you can pull out. We've got a pretty dang exhaustive list of a lot of stuff going on this fall in arts and entertainment, music, and so forth. So, Bethany, what's on tap for this weekend that you would recommend to our fine listeners?
Sure. I made notes.
Wow.
I'll start off with where you could find us this weekend. The Pittsburgh Current, will be at Thrival Music Fest tomorrow. Thrival is actually kind of happening now. The Music Fest is tomorrow. Pittsburgh Current will be there. We'll have a booth. You could stop by, see me. I know I'm trying to awkwardly talk into the microphone. We will be there handing out the current issue and just talking to people and having a good old time. And then we'll also be at Red Fish Bowl's Art in the Alley, which is a cultural trust gallery crawl. So we'll be there with papers, and I believe McKenna will also be handing out some prizes. So if you want to see us in the wild and live and in person, head over to those events. Some things to do this weekend. One thing, we actually just put a post up by Mike Shanley, our music writer. There is a experimental cornetist and composer Rob Mazarak is at the Carnegie Museum of Art Theater. I actually was just reading the article this morning. You can head over to pittsburghcurrent.com and check it out yourself.
Yeah, and if you look at the picture on your screen right now,
yes.
I don't know what a cornet sounds like, but that's a badass picture of that dude.
That is.
Blowing
he makes
that
it
horn.
look cool.
He does.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a cool dude. The interview that Mike did is also really good. So check that out, and then check out Rob tomorrow night.
No, I think that's tonight, actually.
Check out Rob tonight.
I think. Let me double check. We have it. Yeah, that's tonight.
It is tonight, correct.
7 p.m.
It is tonight. We put it up yesterday.
You can go to warhol.org to get your tickets.
Fantastic.
What else do we have coming up? Tonight is also our friend at the Incline, Lexi and Colin and the whole great team over there. It's their second birthday bash. You can head over to theincline.com, I'm sure, to buy tickets. Help support Free Press, which obviously we are huge fans of.
We are.
So if you're feeling like celebrating tonight, head over and celebrate with the Incline. This weekend coming up is the Pittsburgh New Music Festival.
Yep.
So lots of stuff happening. I could not possibly give a snapshot. I'd say head over to that website and check out what's happening over there. If you are in the market for a job, the Pittsburgh Improv is holding a job fair today and tomorrow from 11 to 6. If you've ever wanted to work in comedy but not actually do comedy, this could be for you.
Wow.
Like, I just want to be comedy adjacent.
There have to be. I guess there are people who dream of that. You know what I want? I want a job that's satisfying and that's really comedy adjacent.
Yeah. Well, I don't want
to tell jokes. I want to listen to them. I want to critique them. I want to serve drinks.
Oh, while hostessing. Thank you.
Yes.
But there is also a new job that I actually might explore for myself now, apparently being a wigist.
Oh, yes. That's fantastic.
I want to maintain, care for, and color wigs for actresses that I admire. I'm quitting my job. I'm sorry.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, head down to the Improv Job Fair. And then on the sports note, Pirates have a 3-game homestand this weekend. They're last of the regular season unless a miracle occurs and they win out and make the wild card spot.
Stranger things have happened, I suppose.
We started a paper, so I guess.
And also another great thing to watch is the secondary ticket sites like your Stub Hubs, not to give a plug, but all of them. It's fun to watch. If the Pirates are put out of contention this weekend, it's fun to see how cheap you can go to a game. I remember back in 2012, I went to a game for 98 cents, but it was $5.98 with the stupid ticket fees, but 98-cent ticket. So I will definitely be updating that at PittsburghCurrent.com next week, because that's one of my favorite things to do, is to see how cheaply I can get into a ball game once all hope is lost.
Maybe we can make that like a challenge to one of our writers. But there's some great giveaways. Sunday's Kids Knit Cap Day. So
wow.
If you wanted a Pirates Knit cap, I mean, fall is coming, which was what I was going to end on for my roundup. Saturday is the official start of fall. You may now drink pumpkin beer and buy a pumpkin spice latte, even though our poll showed we are not a pumpkin spice town.
I mean, I don't know if we're a pumpkin spice town, but a lot of people are trying to shove that down. I saw the other day, and maybe this is something. I don't know that I ever really noticed everything, but I saw a pumpkin spice Twinkie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know the point of a regular Twinkie, and I know you're sitting there like, shut up, Charlie, but it's true. Suzy Q's are more my jam. But yeah, a pumpkin spice, but everything has a pumpkin spice. And if this were not a family show, I would give some other things that I think could be interesting pumpkin spice products. Maybe I'll put that online. But yeah, it's there's a lot going on in the fall season. There's so much to do in terms of music, art, sports, which kind of segues into our preview for next week. We will be having, we're very happy to be, we've talked about before, Brian Metzer of Penn's Radio. What's the site that Brian? I'll
go check out his Twitter. I can't remember. It's Penn's Nation Live, I think.
Yes, and Brian, longtime Penguins. He's Penguins beat writer and also on-air personality. He will be starting with the Pittsburgh Current next week, and he will have a full slate of Pittsburgh Penguins stories in next week's issue. And then from then on, we'll be doing some weekly coverage of the Pens. Check that out. Also online, our photographer, videographer, Jake Mislivchik, has got us. We've got several galleries of the recent Panthers and Steelers games that Jake has been to. So we've got lots of sports for you to read and to talk about. So that's the main piece for next week. We're gonna be talking the Penguins. And I know because of our 2-week cycle, it's a little early for a Pens preview, but
it's never too early for a Pens.
We'll be first. We found that we're first on a lot of things these days, simply by our calendar. Yeah. And then again, when it comes to arts, we've got a full slate next week of art stories, including as Charlie's brain searches through the stories he just read down at the office. We've got a lot of great stuff. Oh, we're going to have a feature on Bare Bones Production, their new play, which is again see, I wrote notes for the first time, and this is what happens. But we are. It looks fantastic. It looks like a period cop piece, and we're gonna have a story on that. And I don't know a lot because I'm gonna read the Pittsburgh Current to find out what's going on with Patrick Jordan and Bare Bones, in their fall show. And we also are going to have coverage of Descendants of Crom Music Festival, which is a I don't is it black metal? Is it hardcore? It's good stuff for those of you that are into Descendants of Crom festival, and I think it's the second or third year for this. I think, and it's a pretty popular event, and so we're Margaret Welsh is profiling that. And then we, of course, will have the normal. We'll have Dan Savage. We'll have our comics page. We'll have a couple new comics we'll be debuting this week. And then over at PittsburghCurrent.com, you're going to be able to, our contributing writer and comics curator Joe Wos wrote a piece about the recent coming out of Bert and Ernie. And so we'll have that. As well, Joe's got a couple of interesting takes on there, and he's got a couple of great references that if you're of a certain age you'll get. So I'm trying to find some videos so people aren't wondering who Paul Lynde is, and for those of you that don't know, that's really going to be an Easter egg for you to find out the legendary Paul Lynde. But yeah, we're the Pittsburgh Current. Bethany, how do you think things have been progressing for us?
I think they've been progressing well, but I think you're forgetting to mention one thing that I personally am very excited about, and that is our This Tastes Funny.
Oh, geez,
that's coming up, and I think it's okay to say that Charlie went to visit the legendary Rich Sebak in the hospital.
Yeah.
Where they had food ordered in because hospital food. But that will be next week's This Tastes Funny.
For those that don't know, Rick was injured a few weeks ago, and it was a tendon that attached to his knee. I think we said the quadriceps tendon or something like that. But we have that, and so we went to. There's a rehab unit at McGee Women's Hospital, and Jake Mislivchik, the photographer in that photo right there, we went over and we had dinner with Rick, and he, everybody knows that Rick is a culinary guru in this town, and his stay has not. Don't worry, he's found some good stuff in the hospital to eat, which we'll talk about, and then also though he's not been want for people popping in and bringing him some culinary treats from around the city. And in fact, we sampled some local barbecue, and we also had some hospital fish, which I'm going to leave that as a cliffhanger.
That sounds like a band name.
You can see how hospital fish.
We're hospital fish.
Hospital fish. It was hospital fish. I'm gonna leave the cliffhanger right there. And I'm sorry, I actually forgot that. That's what I'm writing.
I had a photo queued up with Sorg and everything.
I know. I was thinking, who's writing that? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm writing that. So I better get moving on that.
Yeah. So yeah, those are some things that are coming. And then I had notes as well, and I already screwed up and forgot something. I did want to mention, speaking of Thrival, you have a few more hours left to go over to our Facebook page. Their pinned post is our Thrival VIP ticket giveaway. You just have to tag the friend that you'd like to take to the festival. And if it's more than one friend, just, go in and tag a couple times. Later on, probably around lunchtime, we're going to pick a winner. And the VIP tickets, if you go on their website and look at the VIP perks, they are legit. And it's going to be a fantastic show. I'm really excited to see Matt and Kim. I'm a huge Matt and Kim fan. So yeah, make sure if you want to go, get over to our Facebook page soon, tag your concert going buds, and we'll have somebody with those tickets by mid-afternoon.
And so pick up a copy of The Current next week. You've got another week to pick up a copy of our fall guide.
Yes, I just went out yesterday and refilled a lot of our most popular spots. You kind of do it all when you're in startup mode.
You're startup. I think we've already talked about I'm not going to talk about cleaning the toilets again. I'm not a martyr. God knows I'm not.
He did it once. I'm still hearing.
I did it twice, but the second time because my wife was coming down, and so I wanted to make sure everything was spick and span. So,
but yeah, we got a bunch. Wood Street Station, I just refilled you. Wood and Fifth, I just refilled you. Potomac, our friends in Dormont. Good friends with Mayor Jason Walsh, went to high school with him. Hi, Jason.
Yeah, and if you have a suggestion for a spot, hit us up. We're looking at adding new spots every week, so hit us up, and we're trying to get into as many neighborhoods as we can, and then we're going to start branching out into some of the more city adjacent neighborhoods, and we're hoping to get to you very soon.
Yes. I'm actually going out today. I'm doing the drive for 25 in the East End. I'll be personally going out and getting 25 new locations where you can pick up your copy of the
Pittsburgh Current. Want to thank Daina Michelle Griffith, currently starring in The Revolutionist at Pittsburgh City Theater. And you can go to citytheatercompany.org for tickets and more information. And I was, it's a play that I think it really is a must see. And we will see you next week. I think with some special announcements, maybe on an event we may be.
Yeah, we actually have a pretty big announcement that we'll be making early next week.
Next week. So yeah,
we'll talk about it more on the podcast. But if you love Pittsburgh and the arts, you're gonna want to tune into this one.
I think we may have separate special announcements, but
wow, I'll just talk to you offline.
Yeah, so we'll see. I'll see what you're up to. You can see what I'm up to. Pittsburgh Current Podcast. Thanks for watching. Have a great week.
Thanks, Orgs.